Good morning. I'm on in this kind of central square of Idlewild this morning. I just had breakfast in the Red Kettle, and in about an hour I'm going to be picked up by a trail angel to take me to the Black Mountain Road trailhead, which will allow me to get back up to the Pacific Crest Trail. And my understanding is it's going to be just a long, steep climb to get to the trail again. I think it's 6.5 to 7 miles. You're going just almost straight up. So I'm not anticipating getting a lot of miles today. Once I get up to the trail, it starts going down again. And so it looks logistically like the water sources. There's a water source about halfway up on the access trail, and it looks like there's not another water source for quite a while on the actual PCT. So I'm just going to have to play that a little by ear as to where I stop tonight. You know, if I could, I'd like to just go 8 to 10 miles, and if I was near enough to a water source that I could go ahead and camp for the evening, I think that would be my preference. I've got a little time here, and I'm in Idlewild. It's early in the morning, and I thought let me just stop this here and turn it around so you can see. By the way, you can see I'm sporting this new kind of wild-looking shirt, and I certainly didn't pick it out for the fashion, but I was concerned that the existing sun hoodie that I was using was kind of thick and did not breathe well, and so I went into one of the gear shops, and they had some that were I thought looked a lot better but didn't fit as well, and this one seemed to breathe really nice, and so I'm hoping it'll be a net improvement in how well I can tolerate hotter climbs. But so it's kind of wild looking, but I guess with this wild pattern, it will at least make it harder to see how filthy it gets. So I guess all things have their advantages here. Let me just stop this a second. Now I can kind of turn it around and show you kind of in this central square area in Idlewild. So it's a really a pretty little town. You can see they have these little painted deer kind of everywhere, and it's, you know, just chock full of all these kind of cutesy little shops, and log cabin theme seems to be the order of the day here. But really kind of a fun little town, and I was able to get some good rest yesterday. Hopefully I feel pretty good this morning. And I know I'm going to be taxed pretty early as we begin the climb, so I may not be shooting a whole lot. I doubt I'll be shooting much video as I climb up, just to get through the process. But once up and established on the trail, hopefully I can figure out a rhythm and pattern that will allow me to navigate the water access and camping. The next stop will be a town called Cabazon, which will probably be in 2 or 3 days. So at any rate, that's about it for this morning. I had a great call home yesterday and talked with my wife and my sister, and it was just kind of a lovely respite from the wear and tear of the trail. I do feel like I'm getting a little stronger. If I could just get this knee to behave itself. It's still a little puffy, it's still a little vulnerable. I think it does poorly when I'm in long downhill sections, and tomorrow will certainly be a very long downhill section coming off of Mount San Jacinto. But I should get some great views of the mountain today as I'm going up, and intend to shoot some maybe some short videos or stills of that, and I will talk with you on down the trail. Okay, well, here I am at the trailhead, getting ready to go up. We're at about 5,350 feet of elevation, and I have roughly 7 miles to the Pacific Crest Trail, and this should put me out on the trail well ahead of the Fuller Ridge, or past Fuller Ridge, which is the dangerous point. So I'm going to consult my map here and make sure everything looks as it should and head on up. This trail truly is a magnificent experience. I mean, one day you're down in the desert, which appears to be, for all practical purposes, inhabited by insects and reptiles. And the next day you're up and experiencing this sort of alpine majesty. Beautiful. I think you can see we're getting closer. Patchy snow. I know this must seem like it's just a recapitulation of the same thing, but I have to tell you that in person and experientially, it's like a great unveiling as you come up here. It's magnificent. Well, I just stopped at a water source and filtered a couple of more liters of water to add to my load. So I'm really packing heavy right now. Got a full load of food from Idlewild, plus an extra 4 pounds of water that I haven't been carrying to this point. So, at any rate, we're ascending still. I'm at about 7,200 feet. Beautiful, beautiful day. Just kind of a hint of wind. Beautiful, not a cloud in the sky. Maybe just a little wisp of clouds across the area, and you can look around and see that, you know, snow is part of the picture here now. And so I'm gonna go on up the hill. I carried the extra water here in case the Far Out app is correct and it turns out that I run shy on water sources here as I crest and come onto the Pacific Crest Trail. I'm hoping that there may be a little more activity than the app is indicating. Has certainly been the case along the road. I've seen a lot of little streamy type runoff, so I'm optimistic about that, but I'd rather not take a chance. And that way, if I get up, I can go ahead and make a little additional trail time today on the actual PCT. So we'll head on up the trail. Well, you can see I stopped and had to unload my pack to pull out my micro spikes out of the bottom of the pack so I could place them on to start. Looks like we're going to be getting a lot of snow-covered trail. So to give you a sense of what these things are. I also put snow baskets on my trekking poles, and so we can now carry on to these surfaces like that and not slip and slide. So on we go. And so it goes.
can kind of see the little traverses I just had to do. Come across here, up through here, over across, down through here. Kind of, we're a little down below Fuller Ridge, but you can still see that there's these traverses that you certainly have potential to slip. It's late in the day and the snow's really slushy. I just filled up my Ceenock bag with snow. Poured a little water in there so I could start melting me some drinking water. At any rate, I decided to go ahead and grab some snow here because I think we're going to be walking out of the snow in the next mile or so. And so I thought, well, I still had adequate access. Maybe I'll run into a good flowing drainage stream from out from under the ice pack, but not knowing that, I thought it'd be wise to go ahead and pick some water source up and start looking for a campsite. Signing off. Well, I'm finally down below the snow and have a bit of a story to tell, but I guess I'll wait until this evening's wrap up to close that. I am in dead search of a campsite. You can see I'm looking down on the valley in which Palm Springs and Coachella and all of that resides, in the San Bernardino Mountains on the other side, I believe, with the snow on the top of them. Really, really, really dramatic landscape. I mean, this is awe-inspiring stuff. But let me get on down to camp and get things pitched. I'm ready to call it quits for the day. Yeah, it's really a lot of beauty to take in. Really, really, really something. And back down into the valley. Big windmill farm down in there. Still looking for a campsite.
Well, greetings. I'm in camp right now, and I wanted to go ahead and make the closeout video for today while I'm boiling my water to cook my dinner. I've got a beautiful campsite here. You can kind of see I'm set in a little nook, and I overlook the valley of that includes Coachella and Palm Springs, and it's really something when you can get the clarity to see it. It's a little hazy today. I don't know. There's just maybe a little cloudy or so out there, but the views here are pretty spectacular. It looks like I have pretty decent wind cover, and I'm liking the cover around the tent, so I don't think I'll have a lot of problems with condensation. Today was a tough day, but a fun day. It was good to be back on trail. I was rested, and I really was ready to get out and go again. But the getting back onto the Pacific Crest Trail at the place involved a 7-mile direct climb, and unfortunately the Relive video got shut off about a mile into that, and so I'm not going to be putting that onto the video this time. But I think we had a little over 3,000 feet in elevation gain from Idlewild up into the San Jacinto range, and where I hit the PCT, and I encountered, as I documented with some of the video, significant snow. So much so that I surprisingly had to go and rustle through my bag and get my microspikes so I could walk on it without slipping. And then subsequently I found myself off trail with no trail broken ahead for me, which is kind of a perilous thing, especially when it involved a steep traverse I had to go across to try and pick up the trail again. So I went back into my bag, pulled out the whippet head to put onto one of my trekking poles, so I had the equivalent of an ice axe type of self-arrest thing. In case I did slip, I'd have a way of catching myself. And since I was off trail, you know, without a beacon, I don't know, it'd probably take weeks to find me. So I was able to successfully. It's just very difficult, very easy to get off trail when snow is covering everything. The trail looks like everything else. It's just a wash in snow. And so, but what you try to do when navigating snow is you go through the boot tracks of somebody who's hiked ahead of you. And that way they have pre-compressed the snow, and your chances of post-holing go way, way down. It's much safer. It tends to oftentimes have a good level platform at the base of the foot mark. And so having a footpath broken already for you is a big deal. And so when I got out there and got off the trail and had this steep traverse, and there was no trail ahead of me, I had to break my own trail, which meant I had to kick in my own steps, and it was a little sketchy, and got me a little anxious, I suppose, but did mercifully find the trail again and continued on. Found this campsite. Like I said, an interesting day, completely different terrain. We walked up as we ascended. You could just see things changing, and you moved into this alpine environment. It's very pretty, and I don't know that the pictures I can take can capture it in any significant way, but it is very impressive to see it. So I'm grateful that there was a provision to get me into camp safely. I was able to gather up some snow and stuff it into my water collection bag, and you can see that here. So I've been thawing out snow for my water for tonight, and I even have cell service tonight, so hopefully I'm going to be able to call home in a minute. But again, I wanted to get dinner started, since in the process of getting lost. Not really lost. I wasn't lost. I was just off the trail. I knew where I was. I knew which side of the trail I was. It was just when you looked and saw the way to get back on the trail, it was like vertical through snow. And it's like, well, okay. So we managed again, more lessons learned, and just a gorgeous day. I mean, couldn't be more beautiful. And I feel pretty good. The knee's doing fine, and I seem to do okay in the altitude. I was when I first started climbing, I was like, ooh, heart rate up to 145, but it kind of settled in, and I found that it would modulate very directly proportional to the amount of exertion. So it was clearly a sinus rhythm. It was regular. It was nothing irregular. For my physician wife, I clearly felt that I had a sinus tachycardia, and that whenever I would stop, it would immediately drop down again. And so I was able to kind of find a pace of walking that seemed to keep me what I think is in a comfortable range, which is below 135. So I'm living the dream here, and I'll be maybe even able to upload the video tonight, depending on what the quality of the cell signal is out here. So we'll see. But it looks like my water's boiling, so I better get to it. Signing off for now. Happy trails.